Well, this is Massive Go Sign. And you know I support the UNC. Well, I write a big chutney song and I send it to a PNM print tree. And you know the blasting people misprint my song. Hear what them put in here. Listen to what them write. I just write a real big chutney. I take the copy to the print tree. But they couldn't make out my handwriting. They make a friggin' mess with the printing. Because I say Ramesh is a good leader. The print Ramesh is a deceiver. I say Ralphie is a superman. The print Ralphie is a sucker man. They misprint my chutney. The print tree misprint my chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint my chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint my chutney. Some of them like to get fear to misprint my song. You know what that fear that is now. I write sugar aloes, I love a man. The print aloes is an obia man. I say Pink Panther could sing since he born. The print Pink Panther is get plenty horn. I say how the crow they sing real good. The print how the crow is take real wood. I say Manning supporters they always want. The print Manning said to hold the mother. Manning misprint my chutney. The print tree misprint my chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how the crow he fret me. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how the misprint my chutney. Why? I say Manning is a great leader. The print Manning is a big loser. I say Kamala don't think before she joke. The print Kamala love to drink and smoke. I say Fitzgerald Hines is a target. You know the print the man is a target. I say Rowley resemble a movie star. The print he resemble a rap baila. Madam misprint my chutney. The print tree misprint my chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint my chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint my chutney. I say Jarab Narayan is a party man. The people them print he's a panty man. Diane Sukaran is rich like she rich. The print she does look like a blasted bitch. I say I support him, Mr. Armstrong. You know the print how I support the Longtong. You know I say Manning is a real good man. The friggin' people print he's a Macomia man. And they misprint the chutney. The print tree misprint the chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint the chutney. I hope you all hearing clearly. But look how they misprint the chutney. I say make Miss Williams Prime Minister. The print how she is a Tukuya. I say Mr. Montano like to choose. The print Montano does abuse. I say Manning is talk like he want to cry. The print he does talk a whole back a lie. You know I make sure I'm Max Sukaran. Boy the friggin' people print lesbian.
Misprint the chutney, man.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Yellow Ziko program on UNC USA. I have two Dr. Maraj here with me. Dr. Paru Maraj, who is a medical professional, and Dr. Ashford Maraj, who is a financial professional. So, gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to Yellow Ziko program. And, we have some hot issues that are taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. And we see recently where the home invasion bill was passed in the parliament. And I mean, you're seeing some of the very ridiculous statements taking place and ideologies from those on the other side. And you wonder, you have to really wonder, I mean, whose side are they? Are they on the side of the law abiding citizen or the criminal? Take a look at a few clips from the parliament here. I'm going to display it a little bit.
I can't believe sometimes what comes out of the mouth of people who have the security, the gated homes, the firearms, and come and tell me about I have to study disproportionate force. And they don't understand when the Prime Minister talking about the China ridiculous knock load up the matic, knock it back. All that means is by any means necessary. That's all that means. I find you in my house, by any means necessary. Those in that house getting protected.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and honored members of this House. Mr. Speaker, just as you say in the run-up, just before I came here, I attended a very, to me, very pleasing and pleasant event. And this was 1 week ago. Someone told me there were about 500 police vehicles parked up all over the country, needing repairs. And that was 1 week ago. In fact, it was last week, Thursday. I said, well, we have something called Vimcot. Why don't we use Vimcot? And so said, so then. It was done. And from 1 week time, we had 14 police vehicles repaired. And the plan is, by the end of the year, to have 50 vehicles fully on the road. And what was a little shocking when I said, but why? What was wrong with these vehicles? And the Vimcop official said, oil change. Oil changes. That's true, Minister, but member. Oil changes. Things to do with disc pads, transmission. The value of those vehicles was about $3 million, they tell me. I said, well, how much did you spend to bring them back? They said about $70,000. That is $70,000 well spent. So, Mr. Speaker, that's where I was before I came. And as I said, we are very happy to bring more vehicles for the use of the police on stream. So, with respect to the meat of the matter today, I rise here to formally place on record matters of significant national importance. And this relates to the wage settlement and back pay owed to public officers represented by the PSA. And of course, the ongoing discussions with the CPO and the PSA. This matter then, in my respectful view, is not simply about numbers. It's not just about numbers. It goes to the heart of trust in governance and the dignity of more than 16,000 public officers, I'm told, and their families, who have continued to serve with professionalism despite more than a decade without salary adjustments. During our 2025 campaign, we committed that the government under my leadership would end the wage freeze, would settle the PSA negotiations, and we would ensure that there was meaningful relief before Christmas. So, Mr. Speaker, barely about 7 months later, after coming into office, we have met that commitment. And I would like the answer to reflect, Mr. Speaker, promises made, promises kept. And by Christmas, meaningful relief will come and promises will be delivered. Now let's look at the role of the CPO and government's responsibility when it comes to dealing with wage settlements. Under our industrial relations framework, Wage negotiations are conducted between the CPO and a recognized majority union. The CPO, Mr. Speaker, is an independent office, and my government respects that independence. At the same time, the government has a duty to set policy direction and to accept responsibility for decisions which affect public finances and households. Our approach has been straightforward: respect the process, ensure fairness, ensure affordability, and honor commitments to workers. So the position is clear, Mr. Speaker. The 10% settlement will be honored. The 10% settlement will be honored. A cash advance will be paid before Christmas. And the remaining arrears will be finalized through lawful negotiations by the parties, the Public Service Association and the CPO. So I say, Mr. Speaker, whilst the Prime Minister does not negotiate clause by clause, it is still my duty to speak clearly. My government stands firmly behind the settlement and behind relief for these workers. We stand firmly in commitment to the agreement. Recent exchanges between the PSA and the CPO have created some concern amongst workers and the national community. Strong views are normal after years without any progress. However, progress is best achieved through calm, respectful dialogue, and I therefore encourage all parties to allow the established process to proceed professionally and responsibly. Mr. Speaker, permit me to place on the record the historical context of what's happening and what has been happening. Under my former administration, the 2011-2013 period concluded with a 14% increase for PSA represented workers, closing that cycle and providing relief. In 2015, when the PNM took office, the 2014 to 2016 and the 2017-2019 cycles remained unsettled. From 2015 to early 2022, no settlement was concluded. And by 2022, it was publicly acknowledged that workers had received no increase since 2014. We are now in 2025. How many years is that? 2014 to 25, about 11 years. 11 years these workers had to wait, cap in hand, begging, knocking on the door for 11 years, not to get salaries going forward, but for salaries that they were owed since 2014. So, no settlement concluded 2015 when we demitted office to early 22. By 2022, it was publicly acknowledged that workers had received no increase, as I say, since 2014. What this meant is that in a near decade-long wage freeze, it was a wage freeze, during which the cost of living surged with no commensurate help to these workers living on prior to 2014 wages and salaries. Fuel prices rose, VAT was reinstated on essential food items, and families faced a deep financial strain despite more than $500 billion being spent.
Gentlemen, Dr. Parum, you there? But Dr. Maraj, you heard about. I want you to. We're gonna deal with the police situation. Then we'll get into the financial part of the situation, right? So we see here, within a short period of time, within 4 or 5 days, that the police was able to get back 10 vehicles, and these vehicles were down because of minor maintenance. So, I mean, the PNM trying to push some of them was pushing the idea about depending on the police when we had too many times where the police could not have a vehicle and get to your response. And we have seen and heard too many complaints about the police inability to make it in time when you make that call, right? Sometimes they never come at all and they want you to come to the station. I mean, we have seen and heard enough. So now the PNM has attacked the government severely and seems to be more threatened by the fact that law abiding citizens will have the legal right to defend themselves within their own homes. That they are not panicking and paranoid about the amount of criminals running around the country heavily armed with military grade weapons. Gentlemen, I'd like to hear your response. Go ahead.
Well, I, um, there, we have spoken here, now, I know, maybe 2 or 3 months back, that the police vehicles, we understand there were lots of them. I don't know how many there were. Like there were, I don't know, hundreds, but there were surely like dozens and dozens of police vehicles
According to
that
the
are
Prime
parked
Minister, it
up.
was about 500 vehicles.
Oh, wow. Well, when we discussed this some months back, we knew there were large numbers, but we didn't know how many and how serious it was or how easily it can be fixed. In fact, one of us, I don't remember, I think I must have suggested to you all then that if the police doesn't have the capacity to repair these vehicles on a timely basis, then we should entertain the private enterprise to work overtime and get this thing back on the road, because without vehicles, they could not be mobile enough to get from place A to place B to. Apparently, they don't use bicycles and cycles anymore. So I guess they depend on those vehicles. But if at any point in time you have 15% or 10% of your vehicle down, that is bad. We would like that last government should have told us what percentage of the vehicles are in repairs at any one point in time, and how many of them are functioning effectively at any point in time. Those kinds of simple data should be, but everybody should know those things. So I am glad that is a little, even the UNC was a little late, because we spoke about this some months back. But we're glad to see that this is going to happen, and this was an easy fix. This was not a big fix. So some easy things like those, and I understand why the previous government for 9 years couldn't tackle these things. But anyway, we like I said yesterday, I think I was writing you all and responding. I was saying that it was broken. We took over. We have to own it, and we have to fix it. There is no two ways about it. So the people who are plenty talk and no action, they have different people operating now. Again, we're going to own it. We are going to work on it. We're going to fix it, and we'll let them know when we fix it, like the Prime Minister did yesterday. So I think I must mention to you, and that time I was 2 months back, I was talking about this. I told you that a relative of mine in Balsane South, Trinidad, Balsane South, got robbed in their home, and they were beaten and whatever, a home invasion. 6 of them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The police had no vehicle; they couldn't come. I think they arrived some 40 minutes later. And the police station is just, Trinidad, every station, Trinidad is a small place. Every station is within a short radius of 2 miles, a mile and a. This is the St. Joseph police station, live in Balsane. That's next door. So you take 40 minutes to get there? Oh, we didn't have any vehicle. Crap. So that was an issue we discussed, and I'm glad the Prime Minister moved on this. She said there were 10, but I'd like to see 50 times more than 10, that all or pretty close to 80%, 90% of vehicles should be operating at any point in time. I mean, I came out of the service, I know. I used to drive myself. I used to drive with plainclothes vehicle. I used to go around all over the place. I mean, I know how, well, I mean, I know sometimes we could take care of, in our own vehicle, but we didn't have bad roads like that in those days anyway, so our vehicles lasted a little longer. The roads are bad, the vehicles are going to go. I don't know what level of vehicle they're buying, what quality they're buying, but some of these vehicles may not be as solid as after 5 years. Some of them don't hold out, especially some of those made in different countries, like other than Japan. So I that part I am happy to hear, and I want just to continue. Want to hear not 10, maybe 10 per week. She says 1 week, 10, 10, 12, as much, and they could fix them. Some of these they could fix them. They could do things. I mean, if the police within their own ranks don't have these things, because they have their own garage. Many of the police stations do have a garage, but they should get private enterprise to get it done quickly. That's the point I'm making.
But doctor,
Yes, go ahead.
this is an opportunity. We have so many skilled young people in the country that cannot get work, right? And this is a
Yes.
perfect opportunity to hire them and do the repairs in the police garage, because when you contract these things out to private contractor, you're paying more money, right?
Yes.
Right, Dr. Parum? Dr. Parum, jump
Yes.
in there for a little bit.
Yes. Listen, the youths, they are very, very talented young men out there and women. A mechanic does not necessary to be a man; is a woman as well, right? The past government has not given opportunities to youths, right? Mechanic is something very easy. You can learn and learn in such a way. I'm also a part of medical doctor. I learned to fix my car. I went to do some courses and stuff like that. There is these courses like here in Venezuela. You have something they call the INSE, right? Institute National of Trade, right? What they do, they prepare young people to do different types of trade, but advanced trade like electronics, mechanical, diesel. You have your classification, the 3 months to 6 months to 1 year. And then after, the government here will contract you. When they contract you, you get your salary on paying. They send you to prepare you for more courses. So this is a plan that work here in Venezuela perfectly. Now, each police station or each fire station or hospital has to have your proper mechanical team, right? Therefore, these young men or women will learn a proper trade. Will learn who does not want to go into science or bigger studies like engineering. You learn mechanic. How you say? Modern, because sooner or later we will be going into all electric cars. So we keep an enterprise much more cheaper to work with. For example, I don't know if you all know about Civilian Conservation Corps. Have you ever heard about that?
No, we heard about the private corps, but we don't know about the. No, we don't. We
Okay.
didn't.
Civilian Conservation Corps was run by the military of Trinidad and Tobago, right? That's some years ago in 1994, 96. So they have very good implementation on conservation of the ambient. There has their plan as well, no? And when we have these vehicles in good functioning, we have all government vehicles are functioning by this trade. These youths trained in a mechanic, we go much more cheaper, and we have also created employment. We don't have to make a contractor all the time because it will be much more expensive. You see, so 500 vehicles, man, that is very negligent. So if you look at it, it is a way of sabotage, in a way that sabotage the police service in a way, or some officers as well does not care about the cars. Let's be straight with that. Most of them have no feeling. Just went off the line there. Has no
Yeah.
feelings of how you say to take care of things, right?
Commitment.
Commitment of self reliability. We have to
Right.
have this culture in taking care of the vehicle. If it's not mine, I have to take more care of it than mine's, right?
Okay. Well, good.
Right. So things small. This is small investment we are making on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and a very large benefit. You make a small investment in the people, you will get. Man, this is a very excellent idea. It is not justified that for an oil change, you have a car, a police car, or down. No, that is not justified. That is not accepted, right? So small things, these things have to get going. Put in place all of our technical advice and to make maintenance more effective. Now, what happened here in Venezuela? There was some people who were working in the oil field. They bought some cars. Look at the trick. What went on, no? And I think it goes on. They bought cars has a value of $14,000 US. When they placed it into the company, it almost reached $120,000 US. You see. And then after 6 months, none of them were 6 months to 8 months, none of them were working anymore. They just disappear from the company. And our next bought again, our next lot of cars. And so it was going on. So that was stopped. It was detected and stopped. So that could be one of the reasons our plan was to destroy 500 cars and buy 500 cars more. Somebody is making money out of that. You understand?
No, we spent $70,000 to bring back 3 million water vehicle.
Oh man.
Right? That's what we did. Right? So I mean, but the PNM want to say there was I think I don't know if it was Vishnu Danpal, one of them fulfilling as a senator there, was trying to talk about the effectiveness of the police. I have to pull the article, but anyway, that we will depend on the police and you don't need a gun. They were basically trying to say that. I mean, in America, where we have the most efficient police force, we still need to protect ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. So
anyhow,
I mean,
police come when everything is when the act is already committed. Police is not there when before. It's
right. So so one of the things I suggested, and I will suggest again, is that when you sign off on a police car, there should be a checklist of how you receive the car, the mileage on the car, the scratch and dent on the car. Everything should indicate on that checklist when you issue the vehicle. When you bring it back, that checklist will be completed, and if we maintain that, there'll be accountability of the vehicles. Now we know definitely the PNM has caused us in so many ways. They have caused the roads by negligence to be dilapidated, so the cars in them would definitely need repairs more so than they should have been needed. So the PNM is costing us by the racket they did, the negligence they did. I mean, and there's so many ways that the PNM have really cost us, and the population, we must highlight these things so that people understand. I mean, basically, what we're talking about here, what it is when they decide to vote on other means, whether it's race, religion, party, or whatever it is, and they choose the PNM over the UNC. What are the consequences towards them? And it costs the population, it costs our treasury, and these monies can be better utilized. We got 200 motorcycles was donated by China, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are yet to see those vehicles on patrol. It's like somebody taking and put it in their private garage somewhere, so we will have to find out. But gentlemen, go ahead.
You see, what happened with the PNM, what they did, they lied to the people. They are very good in psychology. They are very good. They lie. So they convince the people. And that's what happened. I wouldn't blame the people for voting for them. What went on is they lied to the people. They convinced the people in a way, and then they turn around and stab the people in the back. That's what went on, Gary. We cannot blame the population.
They also control the media. So we have to make sure our channel is functioning and addressing the issues, and we're bringing it to the population. You know, whether they're inside, outside the country, everybody can see the, with the internet, and we continue to bring that information as much as possible.
Mhm.
We want to welcome Suman join us here, Mr. Singh.
Mr. Suman,
Yes, guys, I listen. What's up, my friend?
I want to eat doubles, boy.
Tell me.
Oh, man, indeed.
I'm good.
And
I'm
when you need
good.
it.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, don't go easy, you know. If any girl making doubles now, you know, so watch out,
Yeah,
listen.
very, very.
And they cooking dal puri now. We're gonna send them back one over there.
Yeah. I bought from the Venice. I bought from her the one I was in Trinidad. I don't know if she made them. I doubt she made them, but she must have been just selling them. So that's so.
Yeah,
My
boy.
thing is that this. I think this is okay. I think what Porum mentioned when Porum, I think it was who mentioned about where you hand over the vehicle in what condition you. Okay, so I at one point I spent about nearly 18 months at the 999. 999 is the emergency call. So you had to hand over the vehicle back, whoever take over for you, because when the vehicle return from patrol and your shift is up, you hand over the vehicle and you're recording the logbook, how many miles you're handing over, and if there's anything happening in the car, you record what it is. Then the other driver who takes over, he'll look around and see that the vehicle are in order and everything I wrote is correct. And so we have a handover, 5 minutes handover that happens. So it really did. So if anything happens along, whoever shift, you would know where it is and who it is and whatever. So
Yeah,
that is what
that's
Forum was mentioning.
yeah. But one thing
Also,
about that, the handover is as well. There is okay. If there is damage, there is a like a little insurance to pay for it, right? Because you have to take off the fear. It will create a fear on the officer that if the scratch is your fault or this and that. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So the what it really is, you don't drive recklessly because police vehicles, man, let me tell you, they get damaged in persecution, how you say, car chase and these things, like they
Yeah,
will get
yeah,
damaged, right?
yeah.
So you have to take off the fear from the officer or from the driver that if the accident he will have to pay. No, we have to make a good plan of that, but it really is to take care of the vehicle. And a group of young men and women as well to take a responsibility in maintaining the maintenance of the vehicle. Look, I remember years ago, here we had all the prisoners who were in prison. They repair all the police vehicles here, right? We have that system here. All you behave yourself, you are not dangerous criminal, you get how you saying, privilege. You learn to mechanic, you go repair the police car, and you have privilege, right? To do mechanic. Even the prison can do that as well, right? So these are things that is has to be planned with carefully, and then careful planning. Yes, now the Spanish is in my head. You see, careful planning and maintain this plan. Now, each vehicle for an institution, if it's an oil institution, it has 2 years of use of life. If it's our next institution, it has 5 years of usage. Also, 5 years of
Usage. Yeah,
Useful
go
life.
ahead.
Useful.
lifespan, right?
Yeah, like
So,
okay.
and then with the maintenance, you will extend the performance or lifespan, right?
Yeah, but once
Yes,
a vehicle
right.
has a book value, yeah, at a certain number of years, they must have a write-off for a vehicle. Like say,
Yes.
like after 10 years, the vehicle should be smashed up. And at Trinidad, people don't think that way, but that's how it is. You have a
Mhm.
vehicle, the lifespan is 200,000 miles or 10 years. After that, zero salvage value.
Yes.
Or if you have any value to be created, that's a fair market value. That's an income to generate. So once your vehicle has met the useful life or the termination, you get rid of it. You sell it off or you throw it away or whatever because it has no value. Somebody will buy it from you on a scrap basis, and you move on to new vehicles again because you cannot have old vehicles. It is look. I was driving. I happened to be ending up in Toronto once some 10 years ago, and more than 10, but 15 years ago. And one of the vehicles, it looked like the 99 or whatever have numbers they have up there, 911 or whatever they have in Canada. The car shut down, the police vehicle shut down on the road. He went in his trunk and he pulled out a crank and he lifted his car in the back with a whining jack. What crap I could on? And it's one of the busiest highway in New York, in Toronto called the 401k. I mean, I hope Trinidad don't have that kind of thing. A vehicle that gets crashed on the police vehicle that gets crashed must be moved away immediately. Like every other vehicle, must be cleared and taken to the garage and fixed within X amount of time. And they have to have time and motion studies. Because I was telling you how long it takes the police to repair a vehicle. The garage could do it in 1/5 of the time. I looked at it my own self when I was there, and how long they take to repair one vehicle. And compared to the garage, will get it done. You talk about the oil change just now. For room. I go to the 99 car to the station to get a change. While we're on call, that takes us nothing more than 15 minutes to get the oil change. If anything happens while the only thing that happen is when it's up on the ramp, that something happens and you have to take it down to a run. That might be the only problem, but you take a chance and take it down on that day. So it doesn't take you long to get an oil change. And oil change is on the go, it's on the run. So we on the run 999, we do the oil change on the same run. We don't have to park up the vehicle and get another vehicle for oil change. If they're doing that, they're wrong. They're supposed to find they're not efficient enough. Efficiency has to begin, and that is why I like private enterprise. The government has to compete with private enterprise, and then they'll be doing good. I want to get to the
But
finance
you see,
side
the
of
thing
it.
about it is we contracting the cars to be repaired under private enterprise, and it's a big racket. So the best thing
Yes.
to do is to hire people to work in the police garage, make sure they're properly managed, right? And the mechanics are already there. You're not sending the cars away. There has to be a police garage, or you send the cars in for repair, and you have your people there 24 hours. You maintain a 24 hours, not a 9 to 5 or 7 to 4 operation. You have a 24. That's like how in New York City with them taxi cab company there. You come in there, you change a tire, you take out a fender, you straighten and paint it and send it back out too. But the thing about it is there's a lot of young people can use that opportunity, and we can kill, like say 10 birds with one stone because of the way that we manage things. Where you create an opportunity for the young people, you're getting the police car efficiently repaired in a good time frame, and oil change is a very important thing to be done in time where you don't damage the engine. You change the oil change, you change the transmission fluid. The vehicles on the go all the time. We have enough vehicles to maintain where a vehicle could be down for a while and repair. If we fix it.
Gary,
So
you see
here's
something, no?
let me
What
just say- let me
Dr.
say-
Maraj is saying, what Dr. Maraj is saying, no? There is always has to have. I explain something here, no? In all government companies or all companies that has importance to the state must have half or 51% of government and 49% private. Why? Private is because it hurts the pocket of the investors. Government, why the government has to have the 51% shares, because the private would not hold hostage the product that is being needed, right? So, if we put these workers to fix the vehicles, most government workers are idling on the job, right? And we have to put a time frame.
Yeah,
for,
but we have to fix that. That is all under the
Yes.
PNM, but we have
put
to fix
a
that too.
time frame. This vehicle went in today. How many times? What is the diagnostic? The diagnostic is this. Okay, you have to. How many time will be taken? 3 days, 4 days, 24 hours. depends on that, and the disponibility, the availability of the parts that is needed. There is where the private enterprise come in with a control price, not a price on the parts, not a price that is extremely expensive or a fair price.
Like we have seen in the US where $700 for an aspirin. So because it's a government required thing, so
Ah,
so it's the same kind of racket that takes place in
right.
Trinidad or any other place. So but the thing is, as like I said, it has to be managed properly, and if we
Yes.
manage it properly, it can work effectively.
And
And
maintain
that
it as
this will
well.
happen. This will happen under a UNC government. You bring
Yes,
back
sir.
PNM and everything gone back down. We are seeing now right now. I mean, look what happened with Petrotrin. Go ahead, guys.
Oh man. Well, everything that where is disorder and order is not welcome, there's corruption. When there's order, there's no corruption. And now we are getting ordered.
So you
This
see,
is a very big project to make to increase employment in Trinidad and Tobago just with the police service only. Just with the police service only. I think they will need people from foreign to come to make repairs, to repair cars. Not only police vehicles, ambulance, fireman, everything.
Well,
Everything.
the ambulance is another thing that is a real big project that we need to work on. I mean, we basically just have an ambulance with oxygen tank, and nothing really effective like here in the US. With the equipment, and like we've been discussing here with Dr. Ramrup, and before. So we need to. That's something we had to build out.
Mhm.
We had to really build that. And
so,
I'm hoping somewhere down the road that Dr. Parum, that you will be involved also in assisting us down in the future somewhere, because of your skills with trauma response and all these different things. So I'm hoping that we will get to that point. But go ahead, gentlemen.
so here's the thing about what you all are discussing in terms of corruption in the contract and tendering. So if the police were using private enterprise and there was corruption in there, it wasn't coming from the end of the private enterprise. It was coming from the other end, usually from the government's end. So here are some of the things. So the way they do their thing is they have a middleman who's going to contract out his vehicles to garages. So the police will give this to a contractor who is a middleman who doesn't own any garage but has contact with garage because he's giving them business. And how long does it take the garage take to get paid? 6 months later.
Yes.
So what business can you have that you have to wait 6 months to get paid? You must get a turnaround time. If I'm paying my employees every 2 weeks, then you have to pay me every 30 days. So the corruption is built into the government system. The payments are too long, and it allows for malfeasance and corruption when you don't pay people on time. How long will a garage man wait to get his pay? A long, long time. Sometimes a whole year. I didn't get the first contract, they didn't honor it as yet. So those kinds of things that allow for corruption. If you could have your system functioning in a normal the way business ought to operate, corruption would be down like I wouldn't say 100%, but definitely more than half. And that is where the government has to look at these things because we in this for the long haul. We in this government here to stay for a long, long time because we have to fix this thing and see that it works and see that it holds out. So all these things I'm suggesting, it cannot be done by no other government than this government. And this is your business because you own it. You have to fix it and you will get the credit for it. And you must ensure that you get the credit for it because you are fixing it. So I'm glad you mentioned that some corruption in when you do contracts. But it's because the contract is not. So if you take one of the biggest garages in Trinidad and you do the police welfare, whatever league they have, financially, you have the finance department. It's going to contract the biggest contractor of garage services in Trinidad directly and tell them we have an average of 10 vehicles coming in and we want them to come back within 6 days every week, within 5 days every week. promised that and signed his bottom line. That is his obligation to ensure these vehicles come within 7 days. 50 vehicles come back within 7 days. And that man will take that responsibility because he's the contractor and he has the garage and he take the overtime and he have to get it done because it must be done or else you get somebody else. So hold on, my mic on here. So that you all mentioned because we talked about this 3 months back when we said if you cannot do it, get private enterprise because I know how slow the police vehicle is get things done. And just before I leave on this topic, I would like to also say that there are some vehicles they will not be able to give to private enterprise because the nature, the sensitivity of classified information. Somebody's vehicle might have wired with certain things. So we may have to keep these indoors. So if you know what I mean. That final, but no, we're not saying all vehicles, but that's only 10, 20% that might happen. But the majority, 80% of the vehicles can go to anybody. And there's nothing to worry about classified or whether the vehicle might be equipped that you don't want anybody to put their hand on. The same thing would be with the medical, the radar, or whatever they have again, all the things you mentioned, fire services and everything else. But by and large, they could do better by ensuring that they deal with private enterprise in a proper way because don't allow corruption to enter when you're dealing with private enterprise. Waiting for 6 months to get paid, that's corruption. A whole year you couldn't get paid, that's corruption.
And the private enterprise has received the money already.
We promised a government of efficiency, and that is what we have given the country. If you notice, there's a government of efficiency taking place there. Go ahead, Parum.
Yeah, and there you have the efficiency of the private enterprise. Right now, the private enterprise is necessary to take out the emergency that we have in the police service of 500 vehicles. That is an emergency, right? It is necessary private enterprise. But meanwhile, you use the private enterprise to help train these young men to have the maintenance of the vehicles, right? So therefore, we have employment and we have a more optimist service in the police service. Hello?
Yeah. So the next thing, okay. Suman gone quiet. Suman, you awake?
Totally awake. I'm listening, guys.
Yeah. So the next issue here, as we see, is that we are dealing with the FUO situation like we dealt with the other night. There and we have here a reporter saying that the police commissioner should be the sole authority, and that could never happen. That is not humanly possible. We need that structure change for the people to be able to acquire an FUL and to get the necessary equipment to defend themselves within their home. We can't have it operating like how it's been operating here in Trinidad. I mean, look, we have a system here where the municipal chief of police signs off on an FUL. So I mean, it's not humanly possible. You might have 100,000 FUL application right now, and
so if you have 20,000 application and they're doing 10 a day, how long is it going to take you? It's going to be.
I mean, the responsibility of the police commissioner, he has so much alone to do. I mean, so how much time are you going to spend on FULs?
You see, Gary. Look. Here, how it happened here in Venezuela that you get your firearm license. First of all, there was this same problem that happened in Trinidad. One person is to assign and study the gun permit, right? What happened? The military take control of this, and therefore all application was studied by different. There was a law placed that the military has to take control of these license and the proper training to the civilians. All license. Remember, Venezuela has almost 48 million persons, 48 million, and there is not maximum 3 months waiting for permission for firearm. And it was very effective that not only one person has to sign the permission. There is different officers, different branch and organizations in the army to receive organization or offices around the country to sign, and they give you like a date, an interview date. You make that and you get your firearm. But yet before that, in that 3 months time, you have different training, right? So it is very easy here. Well, I wouldn't say easy because they study you here very, very high. They study you, your character, if you have any prison record, not even a traffic ticket you can have, right? Not even that. So they study you, they study your business, they study where you work, where you live, everything, all environment that you are in. No criminal record. Then psychological tests. But I think you have to be 1, 2, 3, stage 3 of psychologist. And then after you get in, when you approve that, you go to a special training. I think it's grade 1, 2, 3, and 4 to how to use the firearm if you have children or no in that situation in your house. You're also trained. Like, for example, you defend in your home, but you cannot go out and chase the bandit with that. You are not police officer, right? So these are things that can be placed and be fixed easily. I don't think the commissioner only one person. It has to be a lot of persons studying these things, or maybe the military over there can have the access to it, or widen a special branch of the police to assign these firearms.
Yeah, but it has to be broken down to where, like we have a senior superintendent in charge of a station or area. So that person should be authorized. I mean, if you can't trust the senior superintendent to sign off an FU, then you can't trust him to manage the his jurisdiction, right?
Yeah. Right.
So what are you trying to say? So I would say at least that would help with the workload and with the weight. And then, we need to put that training program in place where citizens understand how to use their weapon, how to use it safely, how to use it when something comes about where you're under attack, but you have to also take notice of who's around you.
Yes.
You can't fire the gun helter-skelter. You may have family relatives and a person attack you. At what range do you fire the gun?
Yeah. You see, when a bandit see you, when this law came out that you have to, here in Venezuela was chaos, real bad. You couldn't go out to the street with your cellular phone or even with a Walkman cable, Audi phone. You couldn't go out, right? What happened? The government put strict things on very, very strict laws and punishment on criminals, right? And that was the only way that today we are safe here in Venezuela. Very safe. A lot of places here is very safe. And gun license was given to law-abiding citizens, right? Before you couldn't, we had the building where I am living. I have one of my home here. You couldn't have your car in the car park. We had to make night shift, 5 persons to be security, to watch at the cars. Now, the cars are in public, parked in the public building. I will say, I can go out and show you the photo of where the cars are parked, and nobody absolutely harass the cars or harass the try to steal anything. Look, this is the place here. Look, you seen? Can you see? The car park.
Yeah.
All right. That here, this is the building here one of the buildings here, right? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 buildings here and no security now. Because everybody here, the criminal will not know where. It is very dangerous for him to take a risk to come here. Because why? Everyone firearms. Everyone. You see? And here we have since 2008 no criminal activities. No criminal activities. So this law that our Prime Minister has to put in and for the citizens to defend themselves is necessary. Criminals, I always say, you lost your human rights when you violate the rights of another human. Right? Now, murder rates, you don't hear that here anymore. You hear that once or once a month or something like that. You don't even hear it. You hear domestic violence, yes. Man, woman fighting domestic violence, but criminal activities, no, there is none. I wouldn't say there is none 100%. Yes, there are fights and these things like that. But home invasions, you don't see that here. I saw there before yesterday on the newspapers of Trinidad, some guys went into a church and hold up a church. First time I heard that happen. We never hear that happen here in Venezuela. No? And
Well, that not why it's happening in Trinidad, but it's been happening for a couple of years now. I mean, it don't matter church or what. These criminals, I'm telling you, could come in the house and attack your mother and your sister and tie you up and you have to watch. So the thing about it is here is you have to deal with them. There has to be, the law has been reinforced and improved to a point where you have the right to defend yourself. And far too many often, the police treat you like a criminal when you defend yourself
yes,
in Trinidad. So this is
yes,
one of the things that we wanted to flush out. So all these song and dance the PNM try to do both in the House and the Senate there, it's irrelevant because the fact that the reality is that when you defend yourself in the country and also they have forced people like we have seen. I think was the homeowner a few months ago that got an illegal gun to defend himself, and that has happened too many times because they have put you under so much duress just to get a gun to defend yourself. In the meantime, like I keep reiterating, we still do have criminals running around the country with very heavy military grade weapons, and that happened for the last 10 years under the PNM. It was happening under Manning, and when we came into government, everything was shut down, and then all of a sudden you see the same thing happening again all over again. In fact, I think this time around it went worse. These criminals are going on Facebook and social media and posing with a gun, threatening people, threatening the police too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
That happened here when a group of criminals threatened. They placed a video on TikTok and on Facebook. They came by the organization that were I wouldn't say high class people. I would say a closed organization, and there was a ghetto. The ghetto, they came and placed videos shooting in the air, right? Next day, military and special police came from Caracas, and they did not. Now they would not be able to shoot anymore up in the air. They were taken down in 7 hours. There was a big fight, yes, very, very big fight. So this is the way that these fellas, they post these things on Facebook. They have to be traced and dealt with severely, so they would not do it anymore again. You understand what I'm saying? No? Not to say the word, right? So a criminal, you just come into my house, you go down. I don't care however it is, you just go down. That's how it has to be. And when criminals see that they don't have the possibility of getting out alive, they will think 3 and 4 times or 10 times to go in. They will only have the intention, but they will not be able to do it.
What I'm suggesting is the way we set up ourselves. If we structure things right, we should set up ourselves where the response is so swift that they will have to reconsider that action, and that has to start to change in Trinidad. When they make an attempt and the word gets out, they will have to reconsider their decision.
Yes.
I'm coming into Avocat there with Sumantis down there, and I think I'm going to escape easily. No, because when you get down into Avocat, the people in Avocat is organized to respond to you. together with
Yes.
the police. So you see, we
You,
need an organized structure. It cannot just be a police operation. Police has to work with citizens.
you see, criminals as well try to justify themselves because of economical situation and this and that. Look, I used to live on the streets, you know, when I came to Venezuela, when I came out of Trinidad. And I'm not ashamed to say that I was to eat in garbage and garbage cans and go to a restaurant and take up the food, what people left. And I'm not ashamed to say it, right? I was offered to transport drugs and do stealing and things like that. You are a criminal because you choose to be a criminal. I did not choose to be a criminal under very high pressure, right? Sleeping in the park,
Correct.
sleeping
Correct.
in the garage and these things like that. And now today I made my way up because I decide not to be a criminal, not to steal or anything like that. So there is no justification that you say, oh, I am hungry, I don't have food for my family. Man, put yourself and work. There's no justification to be a criminal. Nothing. So this in a way that they have a thinking PNM way, or they just train these people to terrorize Trinidad and Tobago as well. To terrorize has to stop one way or another by force. There is no
Well,
law
the
to
only
protect
way,
you.
the way it's going to stop, Dr. Parum, is if we stop them. The only way
Yes.
it's going to stop is if we are organized to respond to them. And the
Yes.
police and the government, the PNL government has put our people in a position where they were afraid
Sitting
because they were
ducks.
unequipped, because these people were heavily armed. You know, I mean, and for me, I don't know, but I feel if I have to make something, I will make it, but I have to defend myself. But now
Yes.
we have enforced that, upgrade the laws there now, and I know we're going to be putting some more things in place, to upgrade per person's right to defend themselves. And so I mean the home invasion law has passed, and we're going to work towards more things as time goes by. But the police force is something we definitely have to fix, to function in an effective way and to collaborate with citizens. We need something between national security, police, and the local government to organize the people. These agencies have to be able to work in tandem. Suban, let me hear something from you. Come on. What's happening in Avocat?
Man, I'm quiet and nice here, bro. Enjoying the outdoors, the moonlight outside. I came in a
Yeah,
while
we have a
ago.
And
full
the double.
moon.
What you're saying is, yeah. Nice moon outside, man. Enjoying the evening. Anyway, I've been listening for the past 45 minutes to you guys, and I cannot help but agree with you all. The pressure on the Commissioner of Police to grant FULs is not a one-man show. It has to be spread out about the various stations across, because if there's 20,000 applications to do, and this is being brought up, the commissioner has this added responsibility, when is he going to get time to do the real work? So there has to be another way, or other ways in which you can fast track this process. Secondly, I think that we all talk about it, but technology has to play a bigger role in crime solving, because we have seen that the sophistication of the criminals today, and then they were not like yesterday, or yesteryear. The criminals are well sourced. They have good contacts with the legal system. They had good contacts with whoever brings in these high-powered rifles for them. And sometimes their equipment is better than what the police are using. So what is this telling you? You have to have a different methodology to fight crimes today. So the combination of, adopting the new technologies, a lot more drones are, linked up with the guys on the street linked up to the guys, the Marine branch, and what have you, the Air Guard. And it has to be something coordinated. And when you look at all of this, the big, massive pain point means where it gets stick is in the judicial and legal processes, because you can't have people sitting there in jail waiting 15 years to get a trial. So all these things it requires a coordinated approach. And I've seen that they have to have some courts, a lot of courts in all the various districts, whether it be Southwestern, Southeastern, Central, blah, 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 what have you, and 24/7. Night courts, they've been talking about night courts for as long as I know, and nothing has come to fruition as yet. So it's same old talk again. When is it going to stop and somebody starts to do action? And this is my take on, the whole crime situation. It's pleasing to see the reduction that has taken place recently when the SOE and also with the introduction of the Southern Command. You see a sharp reduction in the criminal activities, and one case is like 46% less, and the other case 42% less. These are encouraging signs, but it only happened this year. For over the past 9.5 years, despite all the conferences and all the meetings, and all these talk shop there within CARICOM, bringing in this consultant and that nothing happened, So only when recently, I would say this year, the actions of the UNC in cooperation with the Southern Command, it's only then we see a sharp drop. And yet the opposition is continuing asking about, where's the crime plan? I haven't seen the crime plan. What is it? But seeing the numbers, man, seeing the number of murders less every month, that tells you something, that whatever they're doing right now is working. I only have to take it one step further. I got the legal and judicial services involved in the process and start to clear the backlog.
So let me just put some spin on all of this and theory behind it. So what Gary had just mentioned, that the police need to enlist the services of community people in the community. I guess he's referring to the average Joe and the average citizens. That is why we are having this conversation and having all these outreach programs to get the feel of people on the ground, what's their perspective and what kind of a law they would like to see, so they can be more protected to protect themselves. The reason why we have to do all of this is because the police couldn't do it. For whatever reason, they couldn't do it. And therefore, they are enlisting the services of members of the community to arm themselves to help protect themselves. Because if the police could have done it, there's no need to arm me at all. I don't need it, really. And the reason why I need it is because my home is possible to be invaded. Also could suffer some things that, I must protect myself. And the cutlass wouldn't do it. You all just mentioned the kind of you're talking about the AI, the generated, the way technology has moved. These fellas have sophisticated weapons, and I have my cutlass in my hand. What the hell could I do with that? What? It serves the purpose in the past. A cutlass will do it if you don't have anything else these days. But because you should be emboldened to protect yourself and your family, and feel that a magistrate or a judge would let you off the hook because you had to do what you do. rather than leaving it to common law, which is what the other side is saying. So the reason why we have
they was arguing in the parliament, oh, we already have this and they already have it. But what's been happening, right? When the police comes and charge you like a criminal, like you was the wrong one.
Mhm.
you know, Gary,
Well,
Gary, I said this, we were discussing this sometime
are a member
before.
of the police force.
We were discussing this sometime before, and I said that there are two groups of people: is either you with the criminals or you are with the victims. Pick your sides, and we have clearly listened to the debates in Parliament. You could see who feeling sorry for criminals and who feeling sorry for victims. Don't tell me about anything about we have a right to do it. We have a no. If you have a situation where you have to defend your people because they're victims of all kinds of criminality, you have to stand on the side of law. You have to stand on the side of the victim, because without them, you have no society. So that is why you are in parliament. That is why you are a judge. That is why you're a police officer. That is why you're doing what you do, because you have an obligation to ensure that people in your society survive and contribute and make your country a better place or your society a better place. Let me just say this one thing about you. The commission have to sign all these things. I have never heard such crap. If they're doing it, they started doing that wrong because they had no control, and therefore they had to put everything in the hands of the commissioner, who was manipulated by a prime minister. So that crap has to stop as immediately as possible, which I think they already started doing. Because they had only, in days gone by, they had one commissioner, and you might have a deputy commissioner. That was it. Now you have 3 deputies, 1 commissioner, 3 deputies, and about 5 assistant commissioners. You have all these people who could sign on behalf of the commissioner. You have 8 of them now who can do it. And to beside, you could, as some of you mentioned, you could go to every division to sign their own damn contract. Every senior superintendent should be able to sign and leave it there. The records are there. You can see. Listen, you don't have to go into a police station to do application. You go online, fill out your application, do all this stuff online, and we just do the checkout, physical checkout one, because we have to check out, come and check you out. And that will be 1 visit, maybe 2, and you're done. So this long, elongated, long time, those crabgrass kind of handful, crabgrass behavior, they're talking nonsense. They're talking 19th century. We are in the 21st century. All this crap people talking is 19th century, we in 21st century. Or this one will not be so. They have nothing to talk about. They get paid to talk in parliament, and they talk crap, a lot of crap, because they're watching. They're sure they look at the clock to see when the time is up. In fact, some of them debating, they can't use the damn time. They're so corrupt. They can't use up the full time. 90 minutes is no. They only have to talk for 15 and 10 more minutes, or 15 more minutes, or 20, or 30 minutes, and they can't talk for 30 minutes. That means they're vacuous. They have nothing to say. They have nothing. They're empty. So talk and walk. So the UNC have to talk and they have to walk, both.
That's right.
Because we need to talk and we need to walk. Because we need to let them know we're walking. Because they're not seeing when we're walking. They're only seeing when we're not walking. And we're always walking. So let them know what we're doing. We're walking and we're talking. And we're getting it done. Look back and you'll see. And the press wouldn't give you plus coverage. You know why? Because they are not your financiers.
Correct. That is where the big problem is. The PR and communications team, I guess, and the UNC is, quite frankly, in my opinion, a very weak one. They're not getting the message out in a timely way. They're doing a lot of work. A lot of things have been done, but they have that pressure from that 1% media, which is manipulating and bringing up all the old crap, as you said, Doc. 19th century things when you're living in the 21st century. In fact, in the debate last week, one of the PNM senators was touting the fact that this law is discriminating against his constituents because he's a representative for, I think, Southeast Port of Spain.
Keith Scotland. The Coalport bicycle man. Yeah, the Coalport bicycle man.
Breadfruit guy. he was saying that by this law, it's discriminating against his constituents.
Well, basically, what
So
is he trying to tell us about his constituents? Right? Is he
that
telling
all
us
of
that his
them are
constituents are the
involved.
ones that are out there robbing people? Is that what he's
Correct.
admitting?
That
Is that
is
what
it.
he's
He's
basically telling
admitting
us?
Correct.
Because the PNM brought his constituents to a point where they had to thief to survive. Isn't that what you're telling us?
That is what he's saying. So he apparently didn't know what he was saying, but we all got the message. Why is it so? And not only him, Gary, it's a lot of the other constituencies too.
But Sumar, that is the exact rhetoric that we see that is taking place there. That comes just like the video I had shown before there. Look at this one here. Come back. Let's look at this again.
Son only tried to rob you and you took his life. That was an abuse of force, Chandler. You must pay for this.
A military veteran has been charged with murder after shooting and killing 3 teenagers who broke into his home. The parents of the teens are now demanding that the court sentence the veteran to death. According to police in Georgia, the 3 masked teens showed up at the veteran's house around 3 p.m. They kicked in the front door and entered the home to rob it, unaware that the homeowner was a former soldier. The veteran opened fire as soon as they entered. One of the teens fired back, triggering a violent shootout. A neighbor, startled by the gunfire, immediately called 911. When officers arrived, they found all 3 teens shot multiple times in the head and chest. Paramedics pronounced all 3 dead at the scene. Later, family members confirmed that among the dead were 2 brothers, ages 15 and 16. After the autopsy report revealed that a total of 28 bullets had been recovered from the teens' bodies, their parents were furious, calling the homeowner's actions beyond excessive. They insisted the shooting was brutal and demanded that prosecutors charge the veteran with murder and seek the death penalty. The homeowner, however, maintains that he acted in self-defense and that his life was in immediate danger. Under Georgia's self-defense and stand your ground laws, authorities determined that his actions fell within the bounds of lawful self-defense. This veteran once fought to defend his country. Now alone in his own home, he fought to defend himself. Do you think this was justified self-defense, or did he go too far? Share your thoughts in the comments.
I
basically-
definitely agree that Solia did the correct thing to do. You're going to get into the
that's
house.
the rhetoric. That's the rhetoric that Keith Scotland and the PNM is pushing. You understand, gentlemen? And there are a lot of people in the country that's pushing that because they know footy well, what the deal is there.
Oh, we
I
discussed
should
this
put the
already.
mother and father, the parents' prison too, for demanding that their sons are attacking the veteran. You're going to go, a veteran, a man who has been in war, going to let be easy? No, man. You putting yourself in debt, right? You put yourself in debt. He has all right to defend himself. He's not a civilian. It's a veteran.
Yeah, but thank
Look
God
at
he
what
was
he got to
trained.
do.
Thank God he
He's
was trained and he
trained.
was equipped. As this young man, how many times we have had this happen in Trinidad with these young men, that same age bracket, storm to a people's house, rape the mother and the daughter and the sister in front of your face, kill some people too, and rob them, right? And when you see a lot of the time the drive-by shooting, I mean, there's a lot of incidents where these same people, young people of that age. So what are they trying to tell us? You understand?
So
Go ahead.
Gary, think about, you see, those are only 3 people. My family in Trinidad, my relative, is my sister. I'm sorry, he's really close. My family is my sister. That there were 6 men looking like those men. I think all of them didn't have guns, but at least 2 or 3 of them had guns, were drawn, pulled like that, and they run in their hand and run to the building and hands them all in the middle of the day. This is happening. They had to, and they were brutalize them, they beat them, they couldn't remember the code for the safe, and all kinds of stuff went on there. So that situation, think about if someone could have defended themselves with that. Maybe my sister or somebody who was inside could come out with the gun. The son was inside. By the time they come and hold up with my sister and my niece, by the time the son in the back, he's 21 years of age, he might be able to find the gun and probably pull it, do something. But 6 of them invading your house. That is why I wrote that article in Trinidad. This is not home
If you look at the Bible also speaks about self-defense.
This is war. If 6 people Three of them have guns in their hand, invading your home. This is too much for one home to handle. This is war. You cannot defend yourself. It's too much. And that is why I'm saying maybe you'll find that that alone is not enough. Something the police must be able to protect the people, because with all the guns they may have, Trinidad, if they organize in 6 and 12, that is war. That is only war. Because if you're moving in battalions, you are really now. This is not civilian thing. This is a war.
It has been war, Dr. Maharaj. It has been war. We've been under siege for a very long time.
That's what I'm
And
telling you.
defenseless.
That is what I'm telling you. This is much more bigger than one guy shooting one guy and running or burglary. This is war. 6 people armed come to jump out of a vehicle, and then when they go in, they took away your vehicle and they went with it because you had to get them your vehicle too. They had 6. The 6 of them couldn't fit anymore. Now they pick up luggage and they're taken out. Therefore, they need your vehicle to take it. So your vehicle went away with at the same time. So this home invasion is what I said. It's a localized civilian war against other civilians in the population, and the only people who can straighten them out, I think, Forum sometimes said the army and the police together should have been working to get rid of this metastasized, organized crime that you have. I think a lawyer told me I shouldn't say it because they were not so organized. Yes, they are organized. So
very well organized.
Mr. Scotland is whoever the gentleman name is. He had to protect his people, and if his protect his people are the criminals, those are the people I was referring to. Which side are you on? Are you on the side with the criminals? And Mr. Scotland should never be forgiven if he's defending criminals in society. And he would say otherwise, but we know better. Okay. He might say he's the one going to talk about maybe common law. We have this and common law have that, and therefore there is no need to have any law. There should be no law to protect the innocent and the civilians. All law should protect people who he support.
You see, if you get him and you put him with criminals to see in a cell and put him in a cell with criminals, and you will see 6-7 days what he'll thinking will be, right?
Yeah.
He has never faced any threat of criminals or any things like that. Has no experience. When I was 13 years of age, I saw my father. They stabbed my father in his chest. I saw that. They came in a home invasion and he was stabbing his chest in front of me at 12 years of age. I escaped. I don't know how the rope managed to loose from me, and my hands were tied behind my back. Cannot remember if I fly or I run or what just to escape. I saw the man with the knife coming in, and the next one was shooting at me at behind. That's all I remember. And I jumped over a wall. So I had was to live with that now, the death of my father all these years. You see, all these years, and now the police they came. What 1 hour after Sanigrani police station? 1 hour after they came. You understand? My father died of hemorrhage. I saw when they pushed the knife in his chest, right? So we law-abiding citizens, we have to live with that pain after. If you don't let the criminals harm us and live with that pain all our life after, no, it's not justified. It's not justified, right? There's no right to have that pain. We lost a criminal, that's one out of society. We did good to society, right? We lose as a law-abiding citizen who contribute to society in all ways. The society suffers.
I don't know if what is the next topic, Gary? Because I have 2 matters I raised the other day. I think yesterday you must have read the 2 issues I raised.
Yeah. Go ahead and raise your thing now. Go ahead and raise your thing. But
Right.
you know, so what we saw also, somebody did a research. One of the senators, I can't remember the name, but Senator Roberts. I'll get the clip during the week, where they was trying to spin this racial talk, but Senator Roberts asked them. He said, "Everybody look like me, basically in the country. So what you're talking about race? That had nothing to do with a country that England or Florida, where you have white and black people. Most of we look like each other. So how does the race become relevant there? You know, with the discrimination. You know, but go ahead, Dr. Maharaj. Yeah, go ahead and bring your thing now.
Yeah, just let me just do two points really. One is that I raised yesterday, and I was just asking a question because I was thinking about it. The first one was I don't know if the easier one is the first one, the second one is the easier one, and that you want to. I don't know if you all ever or anybody in Trinidad who is advising the honorable prime minister that I that at some point in time, she could do an address to the nation, not a Q&A. She do Q&A, not a Q&A. Take the holy, take the bully pulpit and let it go in terms of to clear up some of the stupidities that are happening in social media and other places, and therefore coming from the horse's mouth, that might clarify a few things. So I hope that those who are advising her, or those on a payroll to advise, should come up with some kind of a suggestion, and she'll decide whether she wants to do it or not. I hope in good graces and judgment that she would make the proper option, the correct option. Whichever it is, I'll go along. The second point I raised also, and this is a bigger one, is they were giving, and this is my specialty in my areas, of I get paid for advising in this way. Um, since they fought the election, and those who were following what was on the platform, we knew that the UNC wanted to honor the financial obligations that the PNM didn't. One of them being that the civil service were how you say it? They were earned back pay, which they never got. And therefore they were procrastinating year after year, and they were shortchanged. And the prime minister thought that was unfair and that was not right, and therefore she promised to do something about it. And the PSA, at least on paper, threw them their weight behind the honorable prime minister and the UNC. And they still seems to be very strong behind the UNC, and quite rightly so. So my problem is this. My issue is this. I have a question for the production side, the supply side of the economy. What is the business community doing to trap those funds that will be out there? And the Prime Minister said before Christmas. In other words, are they keep building up their inventories of goods? They could hardly inventory services, but goods, so that when the rush comes, they are prepared to sell to these civil servants and their families. And who else getting money from now before Christmas? In other words, it's like you're giving a big bonus to society, and a lot of it will be spent for all because they have pent up demands that for so many years they didn't get a raise. So it's time to really they're getting a COLA, they're getting lots of money. Are our business community being prepared to handle the huge demand that are going to come upon them over the next few weeks? They should have been doing preparations since April of this year, preparing for this time to come, when there will be a huge demand, because there'll be lots of money flowing in society. And if there are no goods and services to match that flow of demand, all that will happen is price will rise. And that is wrong. So the business community should have been preparing themselves, having the machines work overtime, having the inventories. So when the demand comes, they don't have to jack up the prices, and then everybody will complain in the end about how things get so dear. And why is they getting there? Because the supply side didn't match the demand side, and therefore you have to eventually end up spending more money to get the same goods and services that you could get today. And that is why you're going to have a serious inflation. I am not talking about the willingness to buy foreign goods and services. I'm talking about generating the demand locally. Local businesses must respond. to the local demand. And in that way, your dollar will go further down the road. And maybe the next time around, I would need less increase in my salaries because my salary is going further. The raise that I got went further than it ought to be. Otherwise, inflation will ease up, and come 12 months from now, you have nothing to show for it. So that is on behalf of the workers. That is an indictment against the supply side economy, which is really the business community who had to walk up to the pail. And don't tell me that, oh, we didn't know they were going to get. Yes, you know long time ago. And if you didn't know, put a percentage risk so that you didn't know. Yes, just in case they don't get the payments, you are going to be prepared, if not 100%, at least much better than you are today, because you already had some inventories lined up just in case it comes before Christmas. And you cannot tell me now that you're looking to ask your merchandising, your wholesaler to supply your supply chain, looking down to what do you can rank up from production now. Because all that you're going to do is the wrong thing you're going to do. You're going to jack your prices up to take this money. And I talk like a trade unionist, but really I talk on behalf of the people. You know, sometimes I take trade union side. I mean, I came out of the National Insurance Board, and sometimes I talk in this kind of worker sentiments, and the trade union look at me. Now I got to call some big names. They looked at me. How you're doing better than me? You're good. You're good. Yeah. I can talk for workers when I want to. Also, I'm a business person. Really, that's my firm. I have to, before workers can get money, I have to make money. So I think business has precedence because I got to make money before I can give you money.
You
And
see,
all of us-
Ashran, you see, Doc, this money that is owed to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the workers, that is very fair to pay them, but it is very unfair that businesses will raise their price to take advantage of this situation. You are correct there, what you are saying, that we have to pay that is taking away the rights of people of raising the price. That is a way of sabotage, spitefulness to the people, right? That should be penalized. I don't know the word correctly. You get paid, well, let's raise the price up on everything. The people will be in the same situation. You understand? Same situation. Same situation they will be in.
It's
So
gouging the customer.
Yes, that's stealing. That's robbing the customer. So you cannot have a shortage or reduce the products. Say create a shortage to raise the price. That will happen. That happened here in Venezuela. Happened here, and it worked. But yet afterwards it did not work. They lost in the long run because the government came down and confiscated all their warehouse where everything was stored. Why it was not sold? Because they tried to create a shortage to raise the price, unjustified, right? So this money does not belongs to businessmen. It does not belongs to businessmen. It belongs to the workers for the past 11 years that they owe them no raise in salary. Mostly nurses, doctors, teachers, man, name it. They deserve it. They deserve their rights. Their raise.
Yes. I agree. But I think in this scenario, they're getting a 20% upfront. So it's not all the money is at one time. So the money payments are being staggered. And that may, I think, stems from two facts. The government doesn't have all the money in one shot to do. And secondly, I think it's a better deal to stagger this thing so that, right now there's a lot of pent-up demand, as Doc is saying, and that's quite true. But you notice they're giving this thing for Christmas, that 20% for Christmas. That's a lot of consumer spending. I mean, everybody will go to buy the new fridge and this and that, and, for the season.
And you see, that's the point. The other day I said, some months ago, I said, if you need a turnaround time for tomato, that's 3 months. So People are going to need, they're going to need lettuce. They need, look, 3 months proper lettuce, tomato, things that they put on the food on the table, peas, whatever you come in, whatever they have, yam, dashing, so whatever it is. No, you'll have that is the food section of it. That could be turned around in 3 months. 3 months ago, farmers should be preparing themselves for this big rush to come at least 50%, because let's say they don't get it
Correct.
before Christmas. But here's you talk about the staggering, and that's a good thing, really. And the government should be doing the staggering for the purpose I'm saying it. This is do not unleash this amount of excess cash in society. Nothing will happen but inflation. So it's a nice. The both of them should say this is happening. No, the trading. Many on the other side wouldn't see it that way, but the staggering is necessary, as someone quite rightly mentioned, that the government even though the government had the money, but the rationale should be don't unleash this excess cash by printing
Right.
money in society and
Right.
putting out there. You are not going to develop society. You'll be worse off. It's
But
better the
gentlemen,
money drain a little faster. Let the business community know that this amount of money is coming now, and they should have known that a long damn time ago. Because business is never done yesterday. I teach this thing I get paid for saying these things. Business is never done yesterday. It is done tomorrow. Everything you can only do it from today, but sell tomorrow. You have to have everything in place. So when the time comes, you're going to cash the cash. And Parum, the business must take the cash, but in a legitimate and a business tested, solid model. The way we do business, you sell, make money for yourself, cover your expenses, turn around, continue the business, and the cycle continues. It's a cycle. This is a cycle. It's cyclical. Business cannot be riding the cycle at the wrong time. They have to know, and the business and people wouldn't talk this way. You know why? Because they depend on the American to do it, and whoever they get the goods on, the Brazilian, they're getting goods from all over the world. They're getting goods from China and everywhere. That's how they think. China have cyclical. You have to have cycles. You have to have crops, and you have the thing that when is this coming due? When is that coming due? When is that in motion? You should have excess capacity in your plant so that when this demand comes, we rank up the capacity, because it takes 5 years to build some plants. You don't have 5 years. You don't even have 5 months. You maybe have 5 weeks. You don't even have 5 weeks anymore. Christmas is 2, 3 weeks away. So you should have been doing this thing 6 months gone by. If I'm a business person, that's what I'm doing. That is what I'm preparing for. When this civil servant will get and a lot of them, a lot of money will flow, because this government gets into here, gets into power. The economy will pick up next year much more than it did this year. What are you doing? What inventory planning are you carrying on now, so that when the time comes, you will not be a third world nation. You'll be a first world nation, because you're anticipating the demand to come and therefore preparing now for it. If you don't have supply management, you have the demand. You give money, but you are not. You go eat the money. If you don't have goods and services in society, what the hell are you going to do with it? So it is in the workers' interest also to have goods there on the shelf so they can buy. And some of them could even do their own planting and selling too. What the hell this is all about? So
but
I am angry in
keep in
this
mind,
regard. I'm Ghanaian in this regard. The business people wait for the last moment, because they'll jack the prices and make the profit, and the workers will run. And I'm not feeling sorry for the workers in a way at all. I'm just feeling for the model that the business model in Trinidad has to be revisited, because they cannot expect America to produce goods and keep selling everything down there, and you keep on buying and we keep on selling. And just to make this last point to Suman, you all talk a lot about AI and all technology and all that is fine. But you know what? It get frightening when you talk this way. I said this sometime before. Because every time you talk about technology change and this and that, and if I think about foreign exchange, because they make nothing and they use everybody thing in Trinidad. Not you could use it, but you have to quickly have a parallel economy so you could import substitute. In that way you could, if you really want. I hope this is the last chance to build Trinidad and Tobago, or else you'll not be a real country anymore. This is your last chance to build. This is your last chance. You already had chances. You had 3 change of governments in the past, and you all in Trinidad messed it up. This is your last chance to get, or else you'll be forever back in the bushes, into no return. No return means will not be a real nation anymore. You'll be down in the gutter because they're only depending on oil money to come to spring somewhere else. And that's why I say they want to vex with the Venezuelan because they want the Venezuelan contract. So they because and this is one of my points again, Larry. Sorry to take so long, but let me just say one more thing then. Last thing, maybe I hope. The PNM or any of the opposition, let me just call them the opposition. The opposition is seeing foreign exchange by way of oil money as a beer Howie. That's an inner word to prodigality. Spend it out. God is a trini. When it's done, more will come. Forget what. Let's have. I use the term drunken sailor commercial. That was my term in Trinidad. I coined that some years back. Drunken sailor economics, I think I call it. So if they want to really build a country, they have to get serious. No, they don't have another chance. This is your last chance, and the UNC must sell it. This is the last train to San Fernando, or the last train to Paramaribo. This is the last chance. Don't mess it up. And let sound the bell on the honorable Prime Minister. She has to do it now, and whoever will succeed her, let them know this is the last chance. The PNM has nothing. They have. We don't even talk about them. They're useless and irrelevant. They are irrelevant. Right now, the debate must happen within the UNC to take the country forward.
Welcome,
You must
Dr.
have people
Rambo.
in the UNC taking the country forward and having the strong
Hi,
debate.
hi.
So
And
this is not going to be solved by the UNC messing up or messing around. They have to call it. And the Prime Minister, and many things she's saying, it is correct. She has to continue, and I said she must take a 20 minutes on all the shows in Trinidad and have an announcement to make to the population so that they could know what this UNC is serious. We are not 5 years, we are not 5 days URP government. We are a permanent government who have tenure in this land, because if you want to get ahead, our country, you want to get somewhere, we are the only people to do it, and we're showing you how, and here it is done. And the Prime Minister was get up there and make announcements. Don't use the microphone and talk to the nation. She still have them in her hand. Don't wait. That is why I'm saying the advisors, her advisors must be advising her properly, and she must decide on her own. Well, and then she takes advice. I know that lady. She takes advice, but they got to be solid. They got to be sound. And she has a right to question. So don't accept all the advices. She threw a lot of people under the bus in the first administration she came here. She was doing things, and when they don't throw them under the bus, then she had to go under the bus. So don't let that happen again. Good night.
Keep in mind that the PSA is not everybody got the 10%, right? And so I mean the promise is kept there, as we saw, right?
correct.
So not the entire country get a raise of 10%. In fact, those who was not on board were now making demands that they want a raise too, you know. But that will have to be taken care of down the line. Now we see that we're making drastic progress with the refinery, right, and the oil business. So even though the PNM only focused on the Dragon gas, and everything else was dead, because that's the only thing they could have really done. We've seen more developments with our oil industry, so oil and gas industry, and so there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And we have a very effective team that I have a lot of confidence that can do that revitalization and even make it better than it was before. So we could add all the necessary upgraded technology and replace the equipment, repair what we can. So there's a lot going to be done. So there's a lot of confidence on the team there. There's a lot in place, gentlemen. So don't panic. You know, we have a lot of good things in store. Dr. Ramroop, you here? You want to say anything? Also, let me just show this.
Go ahead, Dr. Rambo.
No, I don't want to. I mean, I just joined in, so I'm not sure what was being said before. So I don't want to say
we
anything
talked
out
about the
of
crime,
context.
and Dr. Maraj went into the economic part, but I want to show this one more video here. Let's see here.
Venezuela across here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shaka Shakari. This is Venezuela out there. When you cross this island here, you are into Venezuela waters. So look at it here. So you could take a boat from there straight down here, and you head. All this is part of Venezuela here. So this is where the warships were seen previously. This is the area that they were seen. And now maybe they have gone. They have gone out a little further out, because you can see. Imagine you can see the trees. If had it not been for the time of the day, you would have seen it clear. Look at it. You can see the trees and whatnot. This is Venezuela. You know, people who have committed crimes and killed people and murder their relatives. This is Patos Island across there. So now you understand what's going on. So you see, so we have to deal with the traffickers and them. So as much as this has nothing to do with politics, you know. This has nothing to do with politics, but we have to deal with the traffickers. We have to deal with them. So I'm just showing, look how easy I can just come here. Go collect a boat, come down here, collect contraband from there, and just fly back into Trinidad. And this is normal. In about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes from right here, and I can pack it right here. Right across there, packing it, normal. And basing it right there, and going back again. And look at this, right there. In about 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, you could be across there. So I'm just showing you. So this is what Shaka Shakari, this is the closest point to Venezuela from the west. This is the west, the west. So now you have a very good idea. Very, very good idea. So nobody goes beyond the Patos Island. Nobody. You can't go there because that is Venezuelan waters.
Why Patos, but you can't go in Venezuela. You have a risk of pirates, you have a risk of getting robbed.
Yeah, but we wouldn't go today. This is one day we wouldn't go. This is one day we wouldn't go. We are going to the Patos Island, but yeah, people could do it. If it didn't have that kind of tension and whatnot right now. You understand? Oh, we are leaving now.
I can't believe sometimes what comes out of the mouths of people who have the security, the gated homes, the firearms, and come and tell me about I have to study disproportionate force. And they don't understand when the Prime Minister talking about the China ridiculous knock load up the matic, knock it back. All that means is by any means necessary. That's all that means. I find you in my house by any means necessary. Those in that house getting protected.
I agree 100% with him. 100%. By all means.
I agree with the Honorable Keith Scotland, who says they're discriminating against his constituents. I never hear a pack of bullshit like that in my life. You know, they're discriminating. What he's saying, that he's protecting all his criminals in his constituency. Come on, man, for a big educated person like him who's a defense attorney as well.
Well, I guess he was told he was wearing his criminal attorney hat in the parliament. You understand?
Yeah.
And he was defending his criminal clients. And what he's trying to, so he wants to tell me or tell the population that there is no citizens in his constituents are getting home broken into and robbed, right? So his constituents are doing the robbing then. So there's nobody in his constituency that needs to defend himself. He's not concerned about that. You know, so he was basically wearing this criminal attorney hat in the parliament.
Yep.
So, Doc, we passed the home invasion bill. We have improved the level of rights for citizens. So we'd like to hear a little bit from you on that.
Fellas, I have to go now because I have to give class tomorrow. Exams.
Okay, Dr. Parum.
Nice chatting with you all.
All right then.
Take care, man.
All right.
We'll talk soon. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ramrup?
Hi.
Yeah. So you saw basically, I don't know if you're inside the country or outside.
I'm still in Canada. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
coming
yes.
back on
Right.
Tuesday.
Okay. So I figured something like that. So anyway, the home invasion bill was passed, and let me just run this video here where you must have missed earlier, but this is the Prime Minister giving a little update in the Parliament.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and honourable members of this House. Mr. Speaker, just as you say in the run-up, just before I came here, I attended a very pleasing and pleasant event. And this was 1 week ago. Someone told me there were about 500 police vehicles parked up all over the country, needing repairs. And that was 1 week ago. In fact, it was last week, Thursday. I said, well, we have something called Vimcot. Why don't we use Vimcot? And so said, so then. It was done. And from 1 week time, we had 14 police vehicles repaired. And the plan is, by the end of the year, to have 50 vehicles fully on the road. And what was a little shocking when I said, but why? What was wrong with these vehicles? And the Vimcot official said, oil change. Oil changes. That's true, Minister, but member. Oil changes. Things to do with disc pads, transmission. The value of those vehicles was about $3 million, they tell me. I said, well, how much did you spend to bring them back? They said about $70,000. That is $70,000 well spent. So, Mr. Speaker, that's where I was before I came. And as I said, we are very happy we could bring more vehicles for the use of the police on stream. So, with respect to the meat of the matter today, I rise here to formally place on record matters of significant national importance. And this relates to the wage settlement and back pay owed to public officers represented by the PSA. And of course, the ongoing discussions with the CPO and the PSA. This matter then, in my respectful view, is not simply about numbers. It's not just about numbers. It goes to the heart of trust in governance and the dignity of more than 16,000 public officers, I'm told, and their families, who have continued to serve with professionalism despite more than a decade without salary adjustments. During our 2025 campaign, we committed that the government under my leadership would end the wage freeze, would settle the PSA negotiations, and we would ensure that there was meaningful relief before Christmas. So, Mr. Speaker, barely about 7 months later, after coming into office, we have met that commitment, and I would like the answer to reflect, Mr. Speaker, promises made, promises kept. And by Christmas, meaningful relief will come and promises will be delivered. Now let's look at the role of the CPO and government's responsibility when it comes to dealing with wage settlements. Under our industrial relations framework, wage negotiations are conducted between the CPO and a recognized majority union. The CPO, Mr. Speaker, is an independent office, and my government respects that independence. At the same time, the government has a duty to set policy direction and to accept responsibility for decisions which affect public finances and households. Our approach has been straightforward: respect the process, ensure fairness, ensure affordability, and honor commitments to workers. So the position is clear, Mr. Speaker. The 10% settlement will be honored. The 10% settlement will be honored. A cash advance will be paid before Christmas. And the remaining arrears will be finalized through lawful negotiations by the parties, the Public Service Association and the CPO. So I say, Mr. Speaker, whilst the Prime Minister does not negotiate clause by clause, it is still my duty to speak clearly. My government stands firmly behind the settlement and behind relief for these workers. We stand firmly in commitment to the agreement. Recent exchanges between the PSA and the CPO have created some concern amongst workers and the national community. Strong views are normal after years without any progress. However, progress is best achieved through calm, respectful dialogue, and I therefore encourage all parties to allow the established process to proceed professionally and responsibly. Mr. Speaker, permit me to place on the record the historical context of what's happening and what has been happening. Under my former administration, the 2011-2013 period concluded with a 14% increase for PSA represented workers, closing that cycle and providing relief. In 2015, when the PNM took office, the 2014 to 2016 and the 2017-2019 cycles remained unsettled. From 2015 to early 2022, no settlement was concluded. And by 2022, it was publicly acknowledged that workers had received no increase since 2014. We are now in 2025. How many years is that? 2014 to 25, about 11 years. 11 years these workers had to wait, cap in hand, begging, knocking on the door for 11 years, not to get salaries going forward, but for salaries that they were owed since 2014. So, no settlement concluded 2015, when we demitted office, to early 22. By 2022, it was publicly acknowledged that workers had received no increase, as I say, since 2014. What this meant is that in a near decade-long wage freeze, it was a wage freeze, during which the cost of living surged, with no commensurate help to these workers living on prior to 2014 wages and salaries. Fuel prices rose, VAT was reinstated on essential food items, and families faced a deep financial strain, despite more than $500 billion being spent.
So, Dr. Ramup, you see the amount of police cars was fixed in just 5 days, basically. And 500 police cars that could be repaired. So, I mean,
very interesting.
Let's hear from you.
Well, I mean, it's to me it's a surprise because one wonders, you know, who I mean, the police service is basically an independent organization that runs the police service with links to the Ministry of National Security, right? And I mean, one wonders what really was happening over the past years, because I mean, their fleet management is I mean, when you look at the police service, one of the biggest factors that affect the dealing with crime is your vehicles, transport to report, to respond, to tactically, deal with certain situations. You need vehicles. I mean, if you go to the United States, Canada, Europe, and there's a incident on the road, you see about 20 vehicles, all over the place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's one of the key elements of the performance of the response of the police service. And when I heard that what amazed me really was the fact that they could have been repaired so quickly and so cheaply. And some of the things that the Prime Minister was talking about was simple things, a filter change, a dispatch change, or whatever. And I remember, I don't know if you all remember that the last government had actually closed down Vemcot. I think they did, didn't they? Yeah. Anybody knows that? Sumant, do you
I
remember that?
don't know. I wasn't here the last.
I think that they had actually closed down Vemcot. I know the Vemcot building close by me there at the San Fernando the crossing interchange there, right?
Mhm.
When you're going into San Fernando there on your left hand side, that was shut down. That was closed. I remember. I mean, for the past few months, that has been closed. I remember they closed it down. So
Wow.
one wonders how they were fixing these vehicles, because I don't know if they had private contractors they were selling police vehicles to. But anyway, it was I mean, it's a good thing that the Prime Minister could mobilize funding and start the process of fixing these vehicles. I mean, I'm literally shocked, really, at the situation in terms of, I mean, just having vehicles down for simple things. Always thought that these vehicles were crashed or the engine damaged or seized or accidents, and they had to be written off or something. I didn't realize it was simple things like that. That
Dispatch and
reflects,
oil change.
yeah, that reflects poorly on the people who is administrating the police service. I mean, I'm talking about the commissioner. What is the actual, who is actually managing it? I mean, the commissioner of police it deals with the crime, but I mean, the police service is like a business. The entire, coming back to what Samant, we always keep saying, apply and implement a business process in these public service ministries. Or everything should be treated like a business,
Business.
almost incorporated. And once you have a business, you have certain checks and balances. You have certain things like statutory documents every month presented to a board of directors. The police service don't really have a board, but they have a team of of police officers, senior police officers, who are supposed to have been meeting regularly every month by a standing engagement meeting. And who actually goes through the minutes of these meetings? Are there meetings? I mean, are there 12 meetings per year of the divisional heads? Who is the commissioner of police managing it like a business? Does he sit down with the various arms of the police service and get a report from them? Are the reports submitted verbally, or are they within a certain framework? Is it a dashboard that they have, which is cascading downwards, so that they can flag certain do we have a balance sheet? Do we have an asset evaluation exercise over a period of time? Do we have quality assurance inbuilt in the public? You understand what I'm saying, Sumant? I mean, guys,
None of these things.
yeah, what
to give you-
exactly is happening is people going to work in the morning, signing a register, and then dealing with incidents as they happen, and out in the fires, and then going back home. I mean, is it that?
It's
I mean,
passing for policing. Yeah, that is what is passing for policing.
yeah. Is it that what's happening in the health sector? I mean, is it that a man? I mean, you could go to work, and then how many $1 million of drugs are bought and not used? I mean, that is a crime. I think they should go back, and all those persons who are involved in terms of stock taking and inventory management and economic order quantities and all this sort of, I think all of them should be fired and charged. I think they should be charged and go to jail for that.
Yes, I thoroughly agree with that, Doc, because
Yeah.
everybody gets away with everything in this island. Everything. Nobody's penalized for wrongdoings. Nobody's penalized where they have brought, thousands and millions of dollars worth, making the wrong decisions as a board or as a CEO, and just walks away like nothing has happened. It's
Yeah.
total.
And I really, really, really hope that. I mean, a year, almost a year has gone, and we have started our offers to assist in terms of assisting and maybe training a certain level of the public service in terms of a business process and maybe training a few deputy PSs or PSs to be CEOs or managers. I mean, look at the health sector. I have always asked that the chief medical officer shouldn't be a public health with public health competencies. I think he should be like in the US a surgeon general or somebody who is capable of managing the health sector. I mean, if you look at what is happening, you have a minister, an advisor, right? And then you have the chief medical officer and the chief nursing officer. After that is the permanent secretaries and all the deputy PSs, right? Their work almost is every day 100,000 files that they have to go through and sign and pass on, and they dotting all the T's and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and they're going through this and they're telling you, well, you're short of 5 cents and 15 cents and all of those. That's what happened when I was in national security. It's like, they're so precise, and one wonders what happened after the last 10 years. I am literally shocked at the fact that the Prime Minister is saying that she could have had repairs to how much? 14 vehicles over just a couple of weeks. I really don't know what to say. I am lost. I'm at loss for words, to be honest with you. This is why people can't get. Somebody's robbed at home and the police can't respond. They don't have vehicles. 500 vehicles not working. My God, boy Gary, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't
plus
believe this.
we were given 200 motorbikes that we can't get a count for it up to now.
My God.
But Doc, as far as I'm concerned, fire the whole team.
I think so. I think we should really.
So too. I definitely think so.
Commissioner Guevara just came in there, but Junior Benjamin and was that Susan Martin and the rest there has to give us some straight answers.
Yeah, you can't come and say 500 police vehicles, and then is it a question of funding? If but the Ministry of National Security gets one of the highest proportions of the budget every year. Not even in UNC, PNM, UNC, NAR, going on all through in the past few years, and they had one of the highest budgets when it comes to budgetary allocations. What exactly? I really don't know. I went on the islands last week. I guys might have known, and I saw Annie Roberts post with the Coast Guard vessels, and I passed there and I was amazed that Friday midday, we came back Sunday around 1:00, 1:30, and the vessels are parked there, and I wonder, what are we paying the Coast Guard officers for?
So you telling me the vessels are still parked up there?
They're parked up there, and I am wondering, why are we paying Coast Guard officers? What are they doing if the vessels are parked up? They don't work on the land, right? They work on the sea. And what exactly are they doing? What do they do during the day? What do they do? They go to meetings, they do drills, they train, they cook, they catch fish. What exactly they do? And they collect money 8 to 4, and they take overtime, and they work on weekends, and they're not going out into the sea.
But Doc, I remember I keep saying we had to fire the whole management team, right?
But I am ready.
In a lot of situations, this is the same trend that follows, albeit in a different form, And the
Yeah.
thing is really that nobody is held accountable unless we start to do these things and you pinpoint where the pain points are and why is this same system recurring year after year after year, no accountability, nothing done. Man, we should be slamming these people to the ground.
Yeah, I am sorry. I think whoever is in charge of the Coast Guard, they should be fired. And that goes with the whole PS and everybody who was with them too. Yeah.
You ask them.
Even the chief of defense, he should be fired too. Because you know what I don't understand is that you are the head of the defense force. Every division of the defense force comes under your supervision. Right? You have been paid at least on a daily basis, on a call basis, to sit down and manage this. Right? And I would love to see his letters written to the, I don't know, to the National Security Ministry. As far as I know, the Chief of Defense, his line control is the President of the Republic of the Trinidad and Tobago, right? He reports to the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of National Security is a coordinating administrative ministry. The Permanent Secretary basically is not his boss, but at least is the person who administers the funds from the Ministry of National Security to the Defense Force. So therefore, some degree of reporting has to be done to the PS and the minister, but at the same time to the president. These are three people: Permanent Secretary, the minister, and the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, who are supposed to be getting reports from the Chief of Defense. And I would love to see the track of communication that says that he wants the vehicle fixed. He wants the vehicle fixed. You know, who is you know, if you go back and every month, you know, you get a letter from him stating, well, you know, I keep asking you all to fix this. I keep asking you all to fix this. Who is responsible for fixing? Is it that it has to be assessed as to the nature of the damage, and then you get a quote from somebody who could fix it, and then the fixing is going to cost X amount of dollars? You know, is it that we have to bring in some experts from another country to come in and do the repairs? Is the repairs done locally? What is the requirement for that? Now, I would love to see that. I would love to do a forensic audit, or get a forensic examiner to go in there and audit to see exactly. And if I find that there has been complacency, and I think I should ask all the salary of all the people who were getting salary over the period of time when those vehicles were down and they could have been fixed, to be returned to the government and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because I don't understand how you could be getting a salary from 8 to 4 and you're calling yourself Coast Guard and you don't have anything to do. What exactly do they do? You know, Air Guard, you don't have helicopters. You are paying 1,000 people to be in the military, and they have no role. I don't understand. Is it that you're expecting a war, and are they just sitting down there training for a war? I mean, I think we have to really look at what is happening with our defense force and our police, and exactly what's happening with this, because this to me has to be totally revised. Billions of dollars have been spent in the years gone, and we have not fought wars. Well, you know, we don't have search and rescue operations in a large scale. We have no big industries where the militaries is put to patrol or guard facilities. You know, we haven't had terrorist attacks. You know, we had a
But
coup in
all the
1919.
all the training from the Southern Command, everything that's come, all the Galawan, all the picture they dispose of, the US coming and train them, they couldn't even secure we border with 150 miles.
Yeah, you see,
Okay?
the US military, right, occupies themselves by doing training. They have a ship that runs to different parts of the world. They actually go on exercises with other militaries. They run programs. They have schools. They have education. They have, building. They help assist with building bridges and whatever. You know, they actually do work. I mean, they come out and they somehow from 8 to 4 they do something. What I don't understand is how you can have a Coast Guard that has vessels out there. What are you doing with the men who are supposed to be on those boats? You know what I mean? What do they do? How are you assigning duties to them? What are they working for? How are they collecting the money when the man come? What do they do? What is their 40-hour? What is their 40-hour duty? What does that entail? Somebody has to sit down really and go through this, to me. I really don't understand it. Yeah. So coming back to Gary, I didn't join the conversation too early because I just came back in from my brother who lives way down in Caledon in Toronto here. Drove on the road there, and it's really cold, so I can't stay with you guys too long. But I have an event to attend to tomorrow. I'm giving a talk tomorrow on disaster management and flooding and all that sort of thing in Toronto. So I have to prepare for that. But
thank you for jumping in, Doc.
Yeah. So I'm still doing some work. I spoke to Kevin on the WhatsApp a couple of days ago, and he said, well, he asked me what I'm doing. I said, well, I'm still waiting. And then I saw he presented the document to the Honorable Prime Minister for the...
Oh, you talking about Kevin Ramner, right? You talking about?
Yeah.
You see, I brought him in the group, right?
I saw that. Yeah. So he asked me what I was doing. I said, well, I'm doing finishing some work up in Toronto, yeah. And then the next day I saw him presenting the plan for the Purdue refinery. So he has... I'm glad that you joined him, and let's hope he can join us and give us some ideas, hopefully, about what they plan for that facility.
Well, I'd like to bring him on, and hopefully, that you could be there at the same time so we could discuss it. But Kevin is fully knowledgeable on how to go about this thing, and I have a lot of confidence in him on moving forward, how we proceed with this thing.
Yeah, that's. I had when I was there, I used to do some work with them in terms of training and whatever for emergencies and conflict. Crisis management and crisis communications. So I did a lot of training for Petrotrin and TCL. During the last 10 years, sometimes nothing was done. But before, I used to do a lot of training with them, but of course, in the last 10 years, I didn't get to do any training because of the PNM, So I'm not sure what happened in terms of crisis communication, but I would love to get involved in the Petrotrin, upgrade and revitalization, because I think that it's a very key element in our financial platform pillar, of Trinidad and Tobago. Although diversification is going to be a very important thing, I think the world would still have a need for petroleum and petroleum products.
Well, this wrongs, Doc, this is where we capitalize on our refinery business and diversify the economy, because the PNM wasted. We can't study what the PNM wasted at this point. We have to move forward and use those resources. The way I see it in diversifying our economy, there's where we build from, and all the things from that we mentioned before, the technology and all the opportunities to create in Trinidad, where people even come and study in Trinidad, because the US is rejecting a lot of people, so they go. That's something we can capitalize on. A lot we can capitalize if we manage well, and if the people vote wisely, in the next 5 years, and hopefully we could convince them that the way we manage the country and the government, that that would be the best choice, like how they did this time. So let's hope for that. I don't want to hold you too long, but we will talk tomorrow. As soon as you're available.
Yeah. So, gotta go now, but. Yeah, it was good to hear. Dr. Maraj was very passionate about the. When I came on, I heard him. I don't know if he's still there. I see him there, but I hope he's all right.
Doc, you fall asleep? Are you still here with us?
I hope he relaxes a bit. I find he was very, very passionate, and I could understand. And the thing about it is that I hope that we have a very good Christmas, and everybody. I mean, the Prime Minister has provided. She has actually been able to find the money somehow to get well, at least pay some cash before the Christmas. I hope good sense prevail with the other organizations, that they don't try to push it and say, well, okay, no, because you give the public service we need, and try
We
to put
already
us in
seen that.
a
We
pit,
already
you know?
seen those demands. Right? Saw
So,
that. Maybe you missed it.
Back in
We
on
saw that.
the 10%, yes.
yeah, you know,
And the police calling for their money, but you know,
everybody's
yeah.
going to come and talk, you know. So what it is really is we when we sit down and we look at, I mean, Sumant would know. I mean, Doc from Venezuela would know. I guess Dr. Maraj would know. Even economics. When you make a move like in chess, you have to think in your head and sort of plan
Anticipate
and
and so on.
anticipate the moves of the other person on that board, because they could checkmate you. They could put you in a corner and lock you. So therefore, when you move something, you have to always check 5 or 6 different possibilities before. And I hope that
You gotta check your blind spots.
yeah, I hope. But I mean, I just passed my driving test on Wednesday here, and I drive in Trinidad for nearly 40 years, and I was sweating. I catch my ass in this driving test. I passed it, but it was like, oh my God, I was nervous, and the amount of things
They make you retake the driving test over there.
Yes,
Yeah. Every 10 years. Every 10
Yeah.
years, you got to go back and do it.
I had to do it, and I mean, Jesus Christ, it was so hard, boy. The amount of things that I had to relearn. I had to go for lessons about 3-4 times before I wrote the test. I did the driving test. So it's what the thing is that I think that okay. So I think now coming up after the May, when they finish the year, they should really sit down now, and all these things that they are going to be doing, they have to like chess. They have to start developing an algorithm, maybe use AI as well, and try to forecast what are some of the moves that other people will make, so that you can begin to mitigate them early. You know what I mean? Because one of the things is that what kills a government and what cripples a government is exactly what is happening now with this 10%. It is going to cause a ripple effect in other people. And then what's going to happen is that people are going to start, coming on the news and blasting the news, and then they're going to start picketing, and then they're going to start, every organization will be looking for 5 or 10%, and they will be demanding, and, so it's something that they should have forecasted, right, when they said that they will give 10%. I mean, of course, it helped for the elections. It may have gotten some votes, but I think now they have to sit down, maybe over the Christmas season, when everything might be a little quiet because of that, and hopefully with Carnival, they might get some time with the Carnival, so the people mightn't retaliate until after, hopefully. But they should sit down and plan the way forward, carefully, as to how they're going to mitigate this onslaught from the other unions, right, and the other people who will now demand that they're gonna need money, just like the public servants. You understand?
Well, we could deal with the VAT and bring down the cost of living, as much as can. If we can improve food production, we bring down the prices of things. These are ways that we can do,
But
do things. But we also are working on, some projects that can help generate economy and revenue stream.
Well, what we had suggested early o'clock, and Sumant would attest to this, and I think Dr. Maraj, and then we had an economist, another guy who was on earlier when I was here. Around Passad, I haven't seen him much again, but
Arjun.
Yeah. So what it is that what we really are saying, and what we have said, is that we have to streamline the processes of all the ministries. All right. We have to go back and do a process re-engineering. Right, we have to include an element of management training, executive coach management training for the public administration first, and then using public administration, all the other ministries. We have to deal with the ministers and the parliamentary secretaries and start doing some sort of training, right? Telling them, well, look, we would like you to apply certain business processes and run this damn thing like a business. Trim all the edges, right? Prevent duplications, try to get your prudent financial management, run it like a business with a profit bottom line. Quality, yes. Profit, yes. If we do this, we may be able to not waste. I mean, the thing is that look how much $1 million of drugs sat down in a store, central stores or whatever, and were not disbursed to the people. 500 vehicles for the police now have not been working. This costs, whether you like it or not, there's a cost involved in that, and that is what we are paying for. And all of us are paying for that, right? The fact is that we are paying for that one way or the other. It's our money. It's who brings money to the government. The government don't print money, right? And I mean, the thing is, it is coming from our taxes. When we buy a doubles, or you go into a store, when you buy a ticket in the airline to go away, when you that is where the money is coming from. And I don't understand, how it was allowed to get like that. I mean, I really am very, very depressed kind of way when I heard about the 500 vehicles from the Prime Minister. I mean, that was a sad thing. I mean,
well we've seen the evidence why people couldn't get services, throughout the years, but
yeah.
I think all of this was by design, to tell you the truth. I think all this
I don't know. I get the funny feeling that PNM wanted to lose the election because for some reason they reached a stage where they just couldn't manage the country again.
And they are hoping that someone will come and clean up the mess.
Well, yes, and then they're gonna build it up a little bit again, and then they will take over again, and
that's right.
That's the plan, maybe.
Yes.
To me,
So,
I mean, I
think we lost them there, Gary.
Yeah, so the duck skip also, we go close up for the night, and so maybe tomorrow night, but I have Ken Ali rescheduled for this Tuesday coming. So, be in touch. Any developments, I'll be in touch with. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Sounds good.
We'll say good night.
Right, man. Take care.
International reports that 5,000 Russian missiles have landed in Venezuela. People are just increasingly worried about an impending war. Any kind of reassurance to the public who may feel that may come?
Ma'am, I think there's some person who are just fear-mongering. Hysteria, fear-mongering. I assure you to be calm. If and when we know more, we will let you know. We'll keep you informed of what is happening. I have no information of a war. I have no information of missiles landing in Venezuela. Again, we are speculating and driving. There's some just determined with fear-mongering and hysteria. Please be calm. My name is Kamla. Be calm. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and honored members of this House. Mr. Speaker, just as you say in the run-up, just before I came here, I attended a very, to me, very pleasing and pleasant event. And this was 1 week ago. Someone told me there were about 500 police vehicles parked up all over the country.